Want to make your enemies burn to the ground and drop your time to kill super duper fast? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my ultimate AR build called the Phoenix. This is LaserBolt, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my Phoenix build. And you're probably wondering, Laser, what exactly is the Phoenix build? Well, I love sharing with you guys different builds like DPS builds, high damage builds, and all that good stuff. But one of my favorite builds to share with you guys are synergy builds, and today's synergy build is going to primarily be focusing on you outputting the most weapon damage with mostly talents and having the right gear set in your inventory. So let's go ahead and talk about this build, how it works. We're going to first go over the specialists, we'll go over the weapons, and then we'll take a look at the stats we have for this build. Now let's talk about the specialists we're going to be going with. The first specialist we're going to be going with is the survivalist. The reason we're going with the survivalist is because we want to take advantage of two things. Number one is a 15% increase in assault rifle damage, and number two, we're going to take advantage of the incendiary grenade that applies burn to targets within the radius. Now, what makes this amazing is that this build is going to be primarily being focused on the burn effect. Now, let's take a look at the weapons that we have going into this build. So for this build, we have a AR that we selected. Now, currently right now, my AR that I have right now does not have the talent that I want it to have in an AR. So I want to make sure you guys keep this in mind. If you guys have an AR, you're going to want to make sure that your AR has this specific talent. I'm going to tell you guys what talent that is because it's going to make your build even much better than what I currently have. If you watch the gameplay that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, I am doing a lot of damage with a LMG, and I'm going to show you how much LMG damage I have, and you guys are going to be like, what? How the heck are you killing those people so fast when your LMG doesn't have any damage at all? Once you guys see the stats. Well, the reason is because my LMG has this talent right here, which is called Ignite. Now, Ignite deals 20 plus weapon damage to burning enemies. Now, if my AR had that talent, this build would be amazing. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you guys have an AR and you have the Ignite perk that you could definitely put on that AR, this build is going to knock your shoes off. You guys are going to be like, man, Laser, this is amazing. So the reason why I'm running a LMG and an AR right now is because I want to proc a couple talents that I'm going to share with you guys so you guys can know. So right off the bat, we know that my weapon is going to be doing plus 20 damage to burning enemies. Now, if you keep in mind, if I was running an AR, that would already be giving me 15 additional damage to, the enemies. So if you think about it, with the Ignite perk and with the AR perk, which gives me 15, I'm going to be doing a total of 35 damage to an enemy. Now, that is just on my weapons and on the specialist alone. Now, what you pick on your weapon, which is the one that you're going to be carrying side weapon, doesn't really matter what you go with. There's a couple really good ones. You could go with Unrhythm. You could go with Protective Reload, Greased, whatever one you prefer. It doesn't really matter because we're not going to be using that much. But the one I want to recommend to you guys that works pretty well, especially for this build since we have very low health, it says, while equipped, this weapon grants plus 10 bonus armor while reloading. It's a really good perk, and even though it doesn't really do that much, it still helps out a lot. So I want you to keep this number in mind. We already have 35 weapon damage with this build. If we were to be rocking the AR with 15 damage that we're getting from our specialist, and we're also getting that additional 20 damage with the Ignite if we had it on this AR. So that's a total of 35 weapon damage. Now, on top of that, we are also going to be getting additional damage, which is going to give us a 25 damage. So this is going to it's going to be a requirement that you have 3 sets of the ongoing directive. Now, if you guys don't know how to get the ongoing directive, I have videos going on my channel explaining how you guys can get this armor set and where you guys can farm it in order to get it. We need 3 pieces to make sure we get the plus 25 burn damage. So if you guys know that we already have 35, right? So if we add 5 more, that's going to give us 40. And in addition to that, we're going to add another 20. That's going to give us a 60 weapon damage just off gears, just off weapons and just off talents. That's 60 damage, guys, on your weapon. Insane, crazy, right? Now remember, guys, we are running 3 sets of ongoing directive. Now what we want to make sure we have with this build is the ability to be able to be tanky as well, because we're going to be going with 2 health. So we want to make sure that the talents we pick on our additional gear that we have available are going to help us with survivability. Now, one thing that I want to make sure that's kind of a priority on this build is the Fenris Group AB chest piece. Now, you want to make sure that you get this chest piece with Berserk. Now, Berserk is going to give you plus 10 weapon damage for every 10% of max armor depleted. Now, keep in mind, guys, we're already rocking a 60% weapon damage. So when our armor is getting depleted, we're going to be getting an additional 10% on weapon damage. So that's going to put us at 70% weapon damage just on gear alone, guys. Just on gear alone, 70%. And it doesn't stop there, boys, because it's going to keep on going. We're going to keep going up and up. Now, what makes this nice is that I also have restorative, which gives me a plus 10 health on kill. So it's not that much. Restorative is not that important. You could probably go with a different perk right here for restorative. You could put anything like hard hitting, or you could put any other perk that you want. I'd probably recommend hard hitting to give you that more damage on elites, to boost that up. But I didn't want to add it on my chest piece because I just felt that I didn't really need it with this build. But if you guys want to make sure you get more damage on elites, you're more than welcome to put that there. I think restorative plays fairly well with the way this build is set up. All right, so the next requirement we're going to be going with is called a backpack that has the following: on the ropes. Now, on the ropes is going to give you weapon damage is increased by 25% while all skills are on cooldown. Now, this is going to give you plus 25. So remember, we had 70 plus weapon damage. If we're able to proc on the ropes, we're going to get 95 weapon damage. 95, yes, you guys heard it correctly. 95 weapon damage just on talents alone. That is almost 100 weapon damage without you even doing anything, without you even lifting a finger or nothing. So this build is amazing, guys. Trust me when I tell you. Now, another thing that you want to make sure it has is Harden, because Harden's going to give you plus 10 armor. Remember, it's going to be helping us keep that tanky build. So just on Berserk and on the ropes and all the stuff that we have right here is giving us 95 weapon damage. Now, another thing that we want to make sure that we have in our gloves is we want to make sure that we have Clutch. Now, Clutch gives us critical hits restore 15% health and repair armor 2%. Now, you want to make sure you have enough synergy in this build. We're already getting a 95 weapon damage with this build. On top of that, we're also working the other talents to give us our health back, so our health is not being as effective because our health is pretty low. Now, the thing is that we need to talk about is what skills work best for PvP and what skills work best for PvE. Now, for PvP, you're going to want to make sure that you change these up, which are pretty much the skills and the stuff that you're going to be rocking in here. And if you're rocking PvE, you want to make sure you get crowd control stuff. So what we're going to be doing to proc this, well, first and foremost, one thing that's going to be a primary focal point on this build is our incendiary grenades. Our incendiary grenades allows us to carry 6 total grenades. We're going to want to make sure we're using our grenades effectively because we want to make sure that that burn damage is applied to the enemy before we shoot our weapon. In addition to that, if you guys are running to a large mob of enemies or you're trying to get a couple of elites killed, you're definitely going to want to make sure you go with the incendiary turret. Now, another thing that you want to make sure you go with is either a launcher, which gives you, your health back, or you want to go with a seeker mine as well, because you want to make sure you're proccing on the ropes. Remember, on the ropes is going to be the one that's going to give you that additional 25 weapon damage when all your skills are on cooldown. So basically, you would throw down your turret, you would proc your second one, which could be a hive or the launcher. That's going to give you on the ropes, which is going to give you that 25 weapon damage, and it's going to make everything give you that 95 weapon damage when on the ropes is procced. Now, if for some reason you're not proccing on the ropes because you're still, you're not using all your skills, you're still going to be able to drop all the way down to 70 weapon damage if you're not proccing the ropes. That's still a lot of weapon damage, guys. In addition to that, when you're getting hit, you're also going to be getting your health back, and you're also going to be getting a little bit of health back when you're getting a kill. Now, this particular build is going to be bulletproof for the new patch that is coming out, which is patch 3.0. You're going to be able to still rock this build and do this much damage when you're using this build. The only thing that's going to be different from my video is that instead of being a 10-9, it's going to be a 11-9. I forgot to add a kind of a armor mod on there, but that's the only difference going forward. Now, one thing I do want to recommend for you guys, if you guys are going into PvP, you're probably wondering, Laser, how is this build going to work? Trust me, guys, with this build in particular, you're going to be able to melt anybody that comes with a massive AR build. You're going to be able to melt anybody that comes with you with an LMG build, SMG build, if you guys are using this build effectively. This build is primarily focused for the person that wants to play mostly with a skill set as far as using the burn ability to make sure that their damage is being increased that much. And pretty much the skill sets you want to go is, you're definitely not going to want to go with the turret, because the turret, not only is it detectable, but it's also very easy to spot. So you want to make sure you either go with a Seeker Mind, and then you also want to make sure you either go with a Hive, which is going to be this one right here, which is going to be the booster one, that's going to make you run a lot faster throughout the game. All right, so now, lastly, let's take a look at the stats for this build. So for the stats on this build, we have the following, guys. So, of course, we already know we're proccing the following perks, but we're also going to be taking a look at the stats down below. So for weapon base damage, I have 17, 920, critical hit chance 14%. We have 38 critical hit damage, 66 headshot damage, and for the offensive, we have 21 weapon handling, 10% all weapon bonus damage, 25 assault rifle damage. Now remember, I could boost this up as well. And here's where I was telling you guys, look at my LMG damage, guys. It is 0, and you guys saw all the damage I was doing to those enemies with 0 LMG damage, guys. This build is just extremely amazing. Highly recommend you guys check it out. On top of that, we have 27 damage to elites. Remember, like I said, if you wanted to add extra damage to elites, you could definitely proc that on your backpack. Just add that additional 15, which should bring you up to like close to 40 damage to elites. If you guys want to try an amazing build, if you guys want to try a build that's going to make the game a lot more funner, it's going to make the game more enjoyable, and you're just going to have a ton of fun and do a lot of damage, definitely give this build a try. Test it out and check out if you're able to put this build together. Give it a couple goes. Try it on normal. Try it on challenging difficulties. I've tried it on everything. This thing makes everything go so much smoother. Give it a try. Let me know what do you guys think of this build. It's officially being called the LaserBolt Phoenix build. So try it out. Let me know what do you guys think. If you guys have tried something similar, let me know in the comment section down below. We are working on other builds. We should have an SMG build by tomorrow. So if that's something you guys are interested, leave it in the comment section down below. I do hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys. Drop a like, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more amazing builds. And hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date to all things The Division 2. If you ever want to stop by and see how these builds are made or where we actually farm for these builds, definitely consider checking us out over on Twitch. We stream very frequently, so make sure you guys hit us up with that follow so you guys can know exactly when we go live. Thank you guys for tuning in today, and don't forget WGATAP, and I will catch you guys on the next video.